I'd like to call the meeting to order, and if you'll please rise, we'll say the pledge together.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Would you please call the roll?
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. Worker?
Yes.
Mr. Golodat?
Yes.
Mrs. Getzman?
Yes.
Dr. Bennett?
Yes, thank you. I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes for the last two meetings.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Do
I'll
I have a
second. I'll second.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Gulladye. Were there any corrections?
No.
Hearing none, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. Golodat?
Yes.
Mr. Worker?
Yes.
Mrs. Getzman?
Yes.
Dr. Bennett?
Yes, motion carried. Comments of board members. Mr. Workman, would you like to begin for us?
Wow, this is great. Welcome, everyone. Looking at the agenda, it's very exciting to see what we're going to see tonight, so thank you all for coming. As the newest board member, everything's a little bit new to me, so it's been a great learning experience so far. On Saturday, had the opportunity to take a look at the new field house for the first time. That's going to be a beautiful facility, so very happy with that and very excited with everything that's going on. So thank you all for coming.
Thank you, Mr. Gulladye.
Good evening, and thank you for coming, everyone. This and this is because of you. Your support for the Mount Vernon City School District. Without you, this wouldn't be happening. You wouldn't be able to see your children playing the drums or the children doing robotics. You are at the heart of who we can be. So when you see a little report about a state report card or a little report about a test, you know as well as I do that's not the judge of what our children are capable of doing and what our great public schools are capable of doing. So thank you from the bottom of our heart for your support, your continuing support for the Mount Vernon City Schools. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Thompson.
I certainly can't top the previous two comments, so what else is left? Well, first of all, hopefully you're all healthy, and my hat's off to the administration for all they've had to deal with, and the parents, and especially the kids who are sick, and all that's going through our school system, which has been tough. I have to admit that my family received the wrath of that stuff as well. But hopefully tonight you're all well. Something that's really encouraging is as we start to say the Pledge of Allegiance, a very loud and very focused sound came over my shoulders when these little kids back here are saying the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you very much.
Well, I'm not sure what's left to say tonight other than to welcome. It is great to have all of you here. As Tim, Mary, and Steve alluded to, it's about our children, and that's why we sit here, is to make sure that your children have the opportunity for a well-rounded education. It's not just about academics, it's about our athletics, it's about our arts, and it's about our specialties for all of our children to make sure they are all included and find their niche. And that's what's very, very important to all of us. So thank you for your support again, and welcome. This is great. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'd like to also welcome everyone this evening and thank you for coming. And I would echo, too, how exciting this is to see robotics. As a former mathematics professor, I really appreciate the emphasis on the science and math and the STEM program. And also the arts. And we're looking forward to hearing the drums this evening. So, again, thank you, parents, for your support for our kids. And as Mary said, we know they wouldn't be involved in these events if you didn't support them and provide transportation and help them after, get them after school when they have to stay late, etc. So thank you for encouraging your kids to go above and beyond. And we're looking forward to hearing from them this evening. So thanks again for coming. Dan, I'll turn
Well, I too would like to welcome you. Thank you for your willingness to, we change venues. Probably the best part of our meetings on a monthly basis are these first two, which is commendations, communications, and quite frankly, reports. And so we couldn't hold this at the Board of Education office unless we stuck it in the hallway just right, and you wouldn't have had a chance to see it. So thank you for coming. We do have this first portion of the evening, which is very much student-led and student-driven. And then, of course, we'll have more of the business portion of the meeting. You're more than welcome to stay for the entire time. But yet we also understand that once our kiddos are done, if you got dinner plans and you need to go home, we understand that as well. So maybe to kick things off, Sue, if you want to go ahead and come forward, and we'll introduce our Twin Oak Elementary behind-the-scenes person. No mic. No mic.
Okay. Well, welcome to Twin Oak. We love our school and we're glad that you're here, and we're so glad that the board agreed to come here tonight because these are the artists from our school, our musicians, and they are going to really entertain you well. And then we heard there was a robotics, which is a lot of our kids. We're looking forward to having the robotics back. They're going to come and give us an assembly for 4th and 5th grades, I think in March. We set that time. But today I really have the honor of presenting a behind-the-scene award to a person who has been a wonderful addition to our school family. I'm going to ask Mrs. Tessa Hall if she would please come up. She does not have to talk. I said just smile. Many of you know Tessa. She was a 3rd grade teacher. Why don't you come on over here? She was a 3rd grade teacher at Dan Emmett for 4 years, and then stayed home and decided she wanted to become a professional volunteer. And we wanted to help her with that as much as we could. And so 2 years ago, we asked her if she would be our PTO president, and she agreed. And what she didn't realize is that the PTO president has to do just about everything. And she knows that, and she's such a good sport about that. I did want to tell you a couple of things about Tessa before we present the award. She has done everything we need in our school, but because she was a teacher and she's a parent and she understands how important it is, she is our #1 sub. So is Natalie, but she is our #1 sub. She will, even if her kids aren't sick and she knows that we have an opening and we are desperate for subs in our school, she will always volunteer and come forward and help us out. I did ask a couple of teachers if they would give me a few words to share about Tessa. And Christy Metcalf is a 1st grade teacher, and Jordan is in her class this year. And she said she volunteers in my class. She goes out of her way to help others. She's willing to do any task, and she does it even always with a smile on her face. Those are some really tough things she has to do in there. She's someone who the kids look forward to working with each week. She's encouraging, she's motivating, and most of all, she's kind. And you know what? We're really lucky to have Tessa in 1st grade. But then I had a 5th grade teacher who also wanted to share some information. And Susan Rice had her older daughter there last year, probably might have her 4th grader next year. Susan says she supports our teachers and students in so many ways. She volunteers in classrooms, she's president of our PTO, she subs whenever we need her, and this is at a moment's notice. She's made connections with so many of our students. But the best story I got was from Tiffany Miller. A couple of years back, Tiffany was going out on maternity leave, and Tessa was her room parent and volunteered. And she and another parent had secretly planned a surprise baby gift for the teacher, and the teacher decided to have the baby before they could give it. So Tessa and this parent went to the hospital and brought the baby gift and shared how much that the teacher meant to us, but more important, it was those kind of things is what Tessa does for us at Twin Oak all the time. So I will ask Mr. Cedar to come forward. See, all you have to do is smile.
Well, Tessa, on behalf of the Board of Education, we're so proud of the things that you're doing here at Twin Oak for being our behind-the-scenes person. So a small token of our appreciation. Congratulations.
And now we have from Appalachia to Africa, and I'm going to introduce our wonderful music teacher, Mrs. Ackert, if you want to come forward. Yes, right here.
When Mrs. Miller asked me this fall, or in August, to tie my professional goals into our theme, Oh, the Places You'll Go, this year I told her I wanted to go to Africa, or take our students to Africa, not literally, but musically. Last school year, I was very inspired by watching my colleague Sarah Reyes implement a drumming curriculum at Pleasant Street Elementary and with the students that we co-direct in the Knox Youth Choir program, an after-school choir program for 2nd through 12th graders. After taking a course on world music drumming, she wrote a grant to the Community Foundation to acquire drums for her classrooms. I was able to watch her implement this curriculum and see her students embrace the new percussion instruments with enthusiasm and watch as they further developed their musical skills. I wanted to do it too, so I followed in her footsteps and enrolled in a world music drumming course this summer, and this fall I was also awarded a grant from the Community Foundation of Knox County to expand the program, our drumming program, to Columbia and Twin Oak Elementaries. So our drums did not arrive till we got back from winter break. So we've started working with them the 2nd or the 3rd week of January. So they've had 3 to 4 musical class periods to work with them, which amounts to about an hour on drums and then an hour on the other instrument I'll mention, or half hour on the other instrument I'll mention. So what you'll hear tonight is the result of just the beginning of our journey. They will also demonstrate their skills on an instrument called the Appalachian lap dulcimer. This is an American 3-string folk instrument, and they were obtained through a grant that I got through the Youth Philanthropy Initiative 6 years ago. We built from kits 48 of these dulcimers back in 2014. We had parent volunteers, we had 5th grade students who are now 10th graders, and a local dulcimer maker, an expert, helping us build them. We use these every year in 5th grade, and we learn a lot about mechanics of string instruments, science of sound production, chord progressions is the thing that they haven't gotten to yet, but is a really hard concept for 5th graders to wrap their brains around that we'll be working with the rest of this year. So I want to say too, I mentioned this is a beginning. Over the weekend, I had the tremendous privilege Saturday of watching our Mount Vernon High School students compete in a music competition called Solo and Ensemble Contest. And we have some amazing musicians in our high school. And they, in many rooms I was in, they didn't just score well, they blew judges away with their musicianship and their technical skills. And I know that in 5, 6, 7 years, I'm gonna go down to Granville High School and watch you all do the same thing. In fact, I already talked to a lot of the high school directors specifically about you all this weekend. So we'll see a beginning tonight, and then I'm so excited about the journey they have ahead of them in music. We're gonna start with a tune called Boil Them Cabbage Down. And then come back to the drums. If you could go to the next slide, Mr. Cedar. As they're playing, these are things we're hoping to accomplish with our drumming. The hardest thing is they each have specific rhythms that they're trying to hold on to, while the drummers next to them might be playing a different rhythm. So they're trying to stay together and coordinated while playing contrasting parts. these drums are made in America to be like instruments you'd find in Africa, and many of them came from Ghana. This was handmade in Ghana and shipped to us. The song we just sang, it's from an African song, translates to welcome, peace, amen, or what the words mean that they were singing. So I want to thank our students for being here tonight and showing our school board what we're doing with music at Twin Oak. Thank you also to the Community Foundation of Knox County. We're so fortunate to have tremendous support from the community for our school district. The support of the Community Foundation and other charitable groups provides so many opportunities for our students, and we thank them, and thank you all for being here tonight.
Thank you so much to Mrs. Ackert's class, and it's exciting stuff to see. We're doing more and more of it in the schools, and I can't thank them enough because they go way above and beyond in helping secure these kinds of opportunities for our kids, and it doesn't go unnoticed. So thank you, Sarah. I appreciate it.
I'm Laura. Sarah.
Laura, I'm sorry, Laura. Sarah. They're like peas in a pod sometimes, right? Hi, Sarah. How are you? All right, so we'd like to maybe move into the second segment, and that would be Miss Emily Miller. Emily, do you want to kind of come up and share what you're going to share with us tonight?
Hello. We're so excited to be here. This is the first year for VEX Robotics competition at Mount Vernon Middle School. So we did not start until September when we kind of got the whole process started with the Martha Holden Jennings Foundation grant. And we were able to start 4 bot teams. And it's made up of 7th and 8th grade students. And each team is made up of different jobs. So there's drivers, coders, builders, the people working on engineering notebooks, and scouts. And they work together to make things happen. I thought it would be interesting for you to see an actual match. We are missing our field perimeter because it was too hard for me to get it here in my car. So the bots might react a little bit differently because we don't have edges. But we're going to go with that. And this game is called Tower Takeover. It is made up of 66 5-inch by 5-inch by 5-inch cubes, and the idea is for them to stack them in the box and then place them in the scoring zones. The cups are opportunities to multiply the point value of the cubes by placing them in the cups. They have a 2-minute game, 15 seconds for Auton, and then a minute 45 to play driver control. Auton is where the students simply coded the bot to do something. Because we don't have our field perimeter, we're probably going to mostly be playing a 1-point Auton, but many of the teams can stack 4 to 5 cubes all at once, where the robot has been programmed to do it by itself for the first 15 seconds. It's just harder to do without the field perimeter. So it would be great for you to check this out, and then we'll talk a little bit more about it. Are you guys all running colors? Are we good? Are you ready? Blue Alliance ready? Red Alliance ready? Blue Alliance ready? Auton in 3, 2, 1. There's no field. We're going to cover that. All right, and Auton goes to Red Alliance. Driver control. In 3, 2, 1, go. Unfortunately, the field perimeter missing made a little bit of a trouble because normally the walls would have stopped this. This one had a good stack. Okay, just because of the field perimeter, we're going to call it for the blue lines. Obviously, you saw this stack would have gone. This one just went up a little bit too quick, but this was a pretty good example of what the game looks like. And then I'm going to allow you to hear from just a couple of the students up front here. And here are the 2 trophies that we've earned so far this season for tournament champions and the judges award that we just earned on Saturday from industry experts. You guys can give your engineering notebooks to them so they can check out, so you can pass the results to them. With several different jobs on the teams that come together, and the greatest lesson that they have really learned in this is sportsmanship and perseverance, teamwork and communication. And I'm going to let them talk a little bit more, but I did want to let you know that Team E has qualified for the state competition, and we will be headed to state. We should be hearing in the next 2 weeks whether the other 3 teams qualified, because our skills ranking in Ohio for middle schools is actually quite good. So I have high hopes that we'll be finding out that we have earned state spots for skills as well, which is, instead of playing against other bots, you only play with yourself, and you have 1 minute for Auton and then a separate 1 minute for driver control. And then, like I said, the C team earned the judges award from industry experts on Saturday at our tournament. First up, I'd like to hear from our builders. So here's Dylan and Hunter.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dylan Boyd, and I'm from the C team, and I'm the builder for C team.
I'm Hannah Thompson, and I'm the builder for E team, and yeah. Vex Robotics Competition releases a brand new competition every year. As builders, we have to first research the game and identify the challenges that our bot face. For example, we realized that being able to stack plastic blocks in cubes as quickly and accurate as possible was the first key challenge of the game. We knew the feeders would be the fastest way to pick up blocks, but the challenge was how the ramp would be designed to stack the blocks upright.
Feeders were a challenge because we had to eliminate vibrations and movement and balance the feeders to the correct amount of friction so they'd pick up the blocks. We started with nothing but aluminum parts, hardware like machine screws, nylocks, and tools. Even now we're racing a clock to build the most accurate, consistent bots for state that can allow us to play more quickly and efficiently. As a builder, the lesson I learned the most is that as we build, we just have to keep fixing everything that goes wrong and breaks and loosens, and because a lot of things go wrong. That's the only way to really put it.
All right, and then next up, we have our coders. We have more team members also. These are just the ones that are speaking up front.
Hello, I am Sawyer Boggs, and this is Hannah Hofferberth. We are the coders for Team E and A. As coders, we are tasked to deal with the VEX IQ block programming, which are a series of programs designed to guide students, elementary school through high school, on how to program, basically, eventually leading up at C++ Pro, which is today the national standard for coding. We are responsible for programming a drivetrain to allow a robot to actually, move, and for the controllers to all work properly. We also have to program the auton, which is the 15-second period at the beginning of every match, where the robot is guided completely by the programming that we create.
It's important for this auton code to be consistent and efficient because those 6 points can actually win or lose a match. Throughout the season, we've improved from 1-point to 5-point autons, and we're currently actually working on a 7-point one. So skills, which is a chance for a singular bot to score as many points on the field by itself, is another opportunity for coding. We have a plan for skills auton at state, and we are working on that now. And as a coder, we've learned to make the code work as instructions for our bot successfully and work as a team with the builders and the notebooks and the drivers.
And then next we have the students that are in charge of engineering notebooks and scouting.
Hi, my name is Trinity Citro, and I'm in charge of the engineering notebooks, and I'm a part of Team E.
Hi, I'm Tessa Corrigan, and I also do engineering notebooks, but I'm on Team 43050B.
The engineering notebooks are how we document all of our research, designs, improvements, and changes for each step of the way.
We include diagrams, details about our designs, team biographies, field sketches, color text circuitry, gear ratios, annotations, part list, and other important information needed to show the judges how we do our engineering process.
STEM industry experts who are engineers, manufacturers, scientists, or perhaps professors volunteer at each tournament to look over notebooks and interview our teams about our designs and choices.
These interviews are exciting because we get to talk to adults who are experts in real-life careers about our robots and how we are using the engineering process to improve ability to meet the challenges posed in the game.
Our other role at tournaments is for us to scout to make alliances.
We watch other teams' progress in the tournament, meet with other teams and discuss what bots can do, negotiate potential alliances, and discuss game strategy.
One important thing that I have learned throughout this process is to work under pressure, because if you don't know how to work under pressure, you're most likely to rush and get stressed and fail. If you work under pressure, this can help you throughout the way.
One thing that I've learned is how to be more assertive, because sometimes my team, after long work nights, we always work our hardest, but sometimes we get really tired and burnt out and pep them along. Does anyone have any questions?
We have one more set, our drivers, and then maybe we'll let board members drive the bots and just ask quick questions.
Hello, I am Dallin Vale. I am the driver for 43050C.
Hi, I'm Simon Peterson, and I am the driver for the Team E.
So, as drivers for the robotics teams, we use V5 controllers to implement all of our teammates' work to meet the challenges of the game. So the builders have to create a solid, consistent design, and the coders then control the auton, and then we have to come in during driver control and control the bots in a predictable manner. Those working on engineering notebooks help track the team's progress and move toward solid and consistent bot designs and coding.
As drivers, it's our job to showcase the bots and what they're able to do when it comes to the challenge in the game. In Tower Takeover, we have to stack cubes in scoring zones, place strategic color cubes in cups to make them into multipliers, play defense, and work with other bot teams. As alliance partners, decide what each driver will do. My teammates help me make quick decisions under pressure and make that all come together. I've learned how to act under pressure better, and that when things go wrong, you can still try to do your best.
And I've learned to definitely work under pressure and do the most efficient strategic move that you can to help win in any different situation.
So we have had just an amazing season so far. These students have made it into all of the elimination brackets after the qualifiers, even our first one. We hosted a tournament here at Mount Vernon Middle School. It was a smaller tournament. We only had 16 teams, but next year we're hoping to have 45 to 50 teams here from all over the state of Ohio. So that's coming up. Should be around November. And the students have gotten into the semifinals Out of the 5 tournaments that we've gone to, we've had at least one team in the semifinals in 4 of the 5 tournaments that we've been at. And this last tournament, all 4 of our teams made it to the semifinals, and our A team and E team were allianced together, and our B and C team were allianced together. So it's been an exciting season, and we're looking forward to hearing about more of our teams headed to state. If you guys would like to try to drive the bots, our drivers will give you the remotes and get you
They're safe sitting there.
Do you have a question?
Would you like to? Yeah, questions?
Lots of questions.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Steve, you go ahead first.
First of all, and you probably said this to begin with, is this 6th, 7th, and 8th grade?
So the X Robotics competition is 6th through 12th grade. So there's middle school and high school teams that compete. In fact, in the 5 tournaments we've been to, we've competed with high school at 4 of them. The only middle school only tournament that we went to was this most recent one, and where we won our state spot for Team E, where they became tournament champions. It was a high school, middle school mix, and we beat out, we were alliance with another middle school team, and we beat out all the high school teams in the main tournament, so.
That's great. Have you had the opportunity to go to some various places that are using robotics in their operations today? And
Yes.
if so, where are some of those places?
Loudonville High School has a strong program. They have it in the middle school and the high school, and they have been running it. This is their 5th year in VEX Robotics competition, and then they had experience before that because they were running PLTW, which was like during the class day, with VEX Robotics parts.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. There's also a big one a big program at Northwestern, North Union, Worcester has a program. And so there are various schools that are somewhat local, and then others that are far away. Elyria has a great program, and several others.
Okay, thanks.
I just wondered how students decide what role they're going to play in the team.
That's a great question. Most of them, when they applied, they felt like they knew what would be best. And then the first few meetings are team meetings and talking about what they thought their roles were. Also, when I put them onto teams, I based what they said about their skills and what other teachers said, specifically our STEM teacher and some of the other science and math teachers, what they said about their skills. So that helped me get an idea of how to put them into teams, and so they just kind of naturally went to their roles from there.
I think it's awesome because not only are they learning robotics and coding and all these things, but they're learning to collaborate and work together as teams, which is just...
Feel free, you guys can drive the bots if you want to try. They'll show you how to do it.
Sure.
Any other questions?
Good. Very good.
That's good. At least you get to see it.
They in the alliance with them, and they really somebody.
I need to get a picture. My phone is put to the side. Are you getting pictures?
You got the privilege of doing it.
You want to grab these
Hey Siri. I've always thought white guys should be robotics.
Yep. All right, you guys want to go through and take a picture?
You want to go on up for a picture with it? Would you like to do it?
Okay, we found some.
Yeah, I found some on my
Mary, you want to go up here and get a picture?
I'm coming.
That kind of thing, yes.
Okay.
What's that?
All right, before I take this picture real quick,
You're tall.
because this is an important picture, because I think it's really kind of special. First off, we saw the end result here, and the end result's fun. It's a game, and the work that goes into this is incredible. And so when you've got builders and coders and engineering drafters and drivers, the teamwork that goes on is incredible. This is probably one of the more authentic ways to learn, where you're actually taking things that you know, learn, and do, and you're putting and applying it. It's incredible stuff. And I will say, I got a chance to see our competition here in Mount Vernon, and we were the only middle school there. There are all these high school kids, all these high school teams. And the part that's really interesting is they start to pair up among other teams. And I'm telling you, these high school kids flock to our middle school kids. They wanted to team up with these guys. And so, you know, we're really proud of you students. Thank you for your interest. And behind every activity like this, it takes a leader too, right? So Mrs. Miller, amazing job. And so Mrs. Miller has set the bar pretty high. We've heard from several of you. These guys aren't going to let us not continue this as they go on up to high school. So obviously the bar's been set, and we've got to find a way to make sure it moves its way right up the ladder. So thank you so much. We're going to get a picture, and then we'll kind of head into the business portion of our meeting. And again, you're welcome to stay, but if not, we understand. All right? Big smiles. All right. All right, looks like it might be on the website real soon. Thank you, guys.
Bravo.
Thank you.
Okay. The box? Yep.
There is no way my presentation will be as exciting as the last one. I'll just say that right now. But for those of you who don't know me, I'm Hayden Lingle, the senior class president at Mount Vernon High School. And I'm just going to tell you a little bit today about what we're doing. There isn't much going on right now, like as you guys know, because we're getting out of the winter sports. The spring sports are starting. It's just conditioning. So none of the real practices have started yet. But we do have the form show. So tryouts, we had the first tryouts on Sunday, and then we have the second round of tryouts on Thursday. And the form court was announced. I couldn't tell you who's on it off the top of my head, but I know that the people who are on it are pretty excited about that. And we also have the form show, which is on March 20th, 21st, and 22nd. The Global Scholars has their activity day tomorrow at Franklin University. And I learned that I didn't know that was a thing, but what I heard was there's a few students who go and they earn like something for their diploma, and it seems pretty interesting. They just go, they have activities and learn things like around the world, which is Global Scholars. But I'm gonna look into that a little bit more because it seems pretty interesting. I probably couldn't do it anymore being a senior, but anyway, we also have the pep band pregame concert at on February 28th for the Columbus Blue Jackets, so that's pretty exciting. I'm excited for them. And lastly, we have 5 new water bottle filler uppers from the senior gift last year, and I've personally used one. It's very nice. but I know we're all excited about that too. So, any questions?
Thank you,
Thank you
Hayden.
so much.
Thank you.
Darcy, anything?
Is there any public participation?
No participation.
Okay. Board items for discussion. There are none at this time, so we'll go ahead to any additions or deletions.
We have no additions or deletions for this board agenda. I do have one item for information. I'm going to make this very brief because the board had an opportunity to go see some of our facility updates. We did get a chance to get the whole field house now has been poured with concrete. We were told on Saturday it took 71 truckloads of concrete to get a 6-inch layer across the inside of the field house, and that's just the court area alone. So it's moving along really well, and we also have walls now up at the maintenance transportation building, so lots of good things happening there. So I won't spend a whole lot of additional time on that facility update other than to say it's going well.
Question, sorry.
Yep.
Can people still donate to the field house and what's coming up? And who do they donate to and how?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. So can folks still donate to the project? And the answer is absolutely. I would ask them to get in contact with either the Athletic Booster Club. They have a website presence, or Justin Sanford, our activities athletic director. And he can certainly get in touch with them and share the different opportunities, quite frankly, to donate to this ongoing work. We'll get the structure built, but obviously we'll have to fill that structure with the right kinds of equipment and those kind of things. So, we're still in that fundraising process. It's exciting. And hopefully we're still on schedule for sometime in the end of May. All right?
Thank you.
Yeah. Under Superintendent's report, I have just a number of items for board approval tonight. The first is an agreement with the Mental Health and Recovery Board of Licking and Knox County. There's some grant money that came from the state of Ohio that is funneling down to school districts. We've opted to participate in that part. And so, we'll work collectively with the Knox Licking County Recovery Board to determine how that money will be utilized. And we also took a look at substitute teacher pay rates. We talked about that last month, and we did make a recommendation for next school year, the 2020-2021, where our substitute teachers will be $92.50 a day, and then substitute teachers in the same assignment for 11 to 60 days would be $97.50. So we were able to really look at comparable districts and determine what we felt was best for Mount Vernon City Schools as we continue to try to move forward in that area. So those two items for board approval.
Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve those two items, and then if you have questions.
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Regola-Dye. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Workman. And are there any questions?
So on the mental health and recovery grant, how do we interact then? Is this a focus group within our district and administration, or how's this?
Yeah, I mean, the allocated amount of money will be determined. Right now, we're in the line for about $35,000, really to look at different opportunities to help our students. There certainly are confidentiality clauses and things like that we can not only serve our students, but serve them in the right way. And we get a lot of say in how that money will be utilized within the district. So we really feel like it's a win-win for us as we really kind of continue in this social, emotional kind of a learning and environment and what we can spend some of those things on.
Thanks.
Any other questions? Would you call the roll, please?
Ms. Regola-Dye.
Yes.
Mr. Workman. Yes. Mr. Thompson.
Yes.
Mrs. Getzmann.
Yes.
Dr. Bennett.
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. The student liaison report, the second article where it talks about teachers use art cartooning to reinforce lessons, I thought was pretty interesting. A social studies teacher in Arizona actually engaged a lesson on government finance through art and cartooning. And the classes got into groups and drew cartoons to engage them in the topic and demonstrate the information that they retained from their lessons. And she found this a good way to get the kids to remember the material. This next article is about Auburn Career Center teaming with Painesville City Local School, and it's a collaboration that was actually begun by the CEO of Marlboro Corporation, and he was concerned because they couldn't fill certain positions and felt that students needed to learn more about manufacturing when they were in 9th and 10th grade. So what they've done, and this hasn't started, it's going to begin next fall, but they have the curriculum developed, and they're going to actually offer a CPT, which is a certified production technician certificate, and the students will have class offered right at the high school and attend those classes throughout the year and gain this certificate. The Auburn teachers will provide the training to the teachers from the Career Center teachers are going to provide the training to Painesville City Local, and then they'll use the high school classrooms and equipment to offer adult CPT courses in the evening. So I thought that was a pretty neat idea. The program actually focuses on 4 critical functions: safety, manufacturing processes and production, quality practice and measurement, and maintenance awareness. And the CPT certificate's widely applicable to a number of contexts, and the skills and concepts learned are highly transferable. So this would give students who graduate and are interested in a career in manufacturing a leg up because they would have this certificate. It also is just a way for students to learn more about manufacturing and whether or not they're interested in that career. We already have, Ariel is doing a program. I talked to Mr. Thompson this evening about that, and it's a little bit different. It's for our juniors and seniors, but it's very similar in that students are getting training. They actually get paid, though, I understand. They get paid, and it's, I assume, competitive. 25 or 30 students are, so it's not like everyone can do it, but that is an opportunity for our students as well. So we're already doing some things. The next article is about good digital citizenship for students and staff, and what I liked about this was the fact that they came up with an acronym, READY, and encourage teachers to remind students to be mindful about the information that they post. Do they really want this to be public forever and ever? And to encourage students to step away from their cell phones and from their computers when they're with their friends. Talking about that their offline relationships are just as important or more important than their online. The third point was A, for accountability, to create digital use guide so that they properly and safely use the internet. So they've constructed a use guide. And then the D stands for demonstrate. It's to model good digital citizenship. In other words, you don't steal online content. There's a difference between sharing and stealing. And then the Y stands for yes, that we should allow students to use digital tools such as YouTube and Twitter. We just need to teach them how to do it in the correct way. So I thought that was an interesting article. And then the last one was district offers workshops to boost parent engagement. And this is a school district in Philadelphia, and they're improving parent engagement through family engagement workshops that are available to parents on a variety of topics, such as reinforcing students with math skills, fostering a growth mindset, and helping with homework. And they have an 8-page brightly colored brochure that they pass out at the beginning of the year, and principals decide which of those they want to be offered at their schools. And they have these 8 different programs, and families come and participate in the workshops right at the schools, and they've had excellent participation. And the parents are excited about what they've learned, and that increases parent engagement. So anytime we can get parents more engaged, I think is a great idea. So those are some things that we can process for maybe, or steal as ideas. And are there any questions? Okay, we'll move ahead then to,
Under the curriculum and instruction section of our agenda tonight, I have a number of items for board approval. The first is an overnight extended student trip in 2021, which is next year. Our music students will be heading to New York City, and so they have quite a filled time there, going to workshops, going to St. Paul's Apostle Church, Music Theater, the New York Philharmonic, September 11th Memorial, the One World Trade Center, and a Broadway show. So again, our students getting an opportunity to get out away from Mount Vernon and to learn about the world around us. Speaking of the world around us, item 2 is a foreign exchange student from Brazil. And we continue to want to be good hosts of students from abroad. It brings, quite frankly, some real diversity to our student population. Item 3 in this section is a College Credit Plus partnership with Kenyon College. As you know, we have a lot of College Credit Plus students, either at MVNU or Kenyon, and every year we have to renew these partnership agreements, and so this is Kenyon's chance for that renewal. Those 3 items for your approval.
okay, I would entertain a motion to approve those 3 items as mentioned.
So moved.
Thank you, Mrs. Gutzman. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Gulladye. Were there any questions? Okay, would you call the roll, please?
Mrs. Getzmann.
Yes.
Ms. Regola-Dye.
Yes.
Mr. Thompson.
Yes.
Mr. Workman.
Yes.
Dr. Bennett.
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. And fiscal services.
A lot of stuff in the fiscal services section for the board report. The financial report is very boilerplate, so unless you want me to, we won't open that. We did get our first tax advance from the county, so that is reflected obviously in that report. The financial guidelines, that is something that I'm asking the board to approve. Just kind of spells out how we expect our faculty and staff to utilize our resources and hopefully a more clear and efficient manner. So hopefully you've had a chance to read that as we've been tweaking it over the past couple of months from the initial time that I shared it with you. So if there's no questions there, we do have an appropriations update. We're fortunate that we have added 2 grants. So anytime we add money, we have to appropriate it and obviously run it through the auditor. So you can see the $40,000 and the $65,000 amounts there. Then the subtotal 105 is the same as the total at the bottom. So we have 2 new revenue streams, the $40,000 and the $65,000 that I'm asking the board to approve. One is a safety grant and one is supplemental funds to work with our middle school and high school.
Just to add to that, the safety grant, Rick Schaefer, our Director of Maintenance, applied for that through the BWC, the Bureau of Workers' Compensation. We're going to use that $40,000 for security entrances in all of our buildings, so we're going to be getting away from the keys, and we're going to be fobbing ourselves in. That fob does then record who's in and out, and it just allows for the safer mobility of allowing access to our buildings. Anything else there?
No, that's it.
We have donations. Did you want to?
Right. Nothing really of significance on the certificate or the resolution. So if there's no questions regarding those things, those are given to us for approval by the board from the auditor, just demonstrating millage rates and things along those lines. We really don't have much say in those, so, unless we're on the ballot for some reason. We do have one donation to the Twin Oak Library from the Knox County Quilt Guild, and it's called Get Quilted, and it's a book in honor of James Stewart.
Yeah. Okay, I would entertain a motion then to approve those financial services items as read. Thank you, Mr. Workman. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Were there any questions?
Yes, I have one question, just to make sure that we all understand and the community understands that these kinds of grants are not reoccurring they are simply a one-time issuance?
One time, now we can apply year to year.
Reapply,
That doesn't
right.
mean we're going to be awarded it every year.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Worker?
Yes.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Ms. Regola Dye?
Yes.
Mrs. Getzmann?
Yes.
Dr. Bennett?
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Ms. Regula Dye?
Yes, thank you. You can open those two sites at your leisure, but I wanted to just focus briefly on a couple of things. The House passed SB 89. This bill phases out the district Ed Choice paid vouchers. It increases the income-based voucher eligibility from 200% to 250% of the federal poverty level. It requires the state to pay the voucher if a student is both income eligible and building eligible beginning in 2021 to 2022. The plan dissolves the 3 academic commissions, and it establishes a moratorium until 2024 for new academic distress commissions, and it sunsets the school district territory transfer law on September 1st, 2020. The General Assembly must resolve these issues regarding the Ed Choice program by April 1st. Then out of this House Civil Justice Committee, there was a second hearing on HB 369, which prohibits the discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation or gender identity or expression. And then I wanted to let the board know that I had received, I sent a letter to the governor concerning Ed Choice, and I received a phone call back from an aide and also a response from an aide. And then I have recently sent letters to our representative, Rick Carfagna, the chair of the Education Committee, Representative Don Jones, the vice chair, Representative Susan Manchester, and the minority chair of the Education Committee, Representative Don Jones. In the Senate Education Committee, I've sent a letter to Senator Peggy Layer, the chair, and the vice chair of the Senate Education Committee, Teresa Fodder. And I've also sent a letter to the Speaker of the House, Larry Householder, concerning our Ed Choice, opposition to the Ed Choice. And at your leisure, I'll just pass this around. This is just an example of the letter I sent, and it just happens to be the one to Senator Fetter. So I just wanted to bring that so that you could take a look at it at your leisure, and hopefully there aren't isn't anything that you would be concerned about. I've made it very general, and the importance of public education and taxpayer money being used for that. So any questions or comments or ideas?
No, I have also sent to most of the people that you named, plus Orloff. So I have gotten an email and a call from the governor's office, but not a formal letter. So.
Okay. Did you email these other people or? Mm-hmm. Okay. And you haven't received anything back from them?
I have. Peggy Lehner's office.
Oh, good.
Sent back a kind of a standard email, though, saying they'd received it. And,
okay.
And also Orloff's office.
Okay, good. Okay.
And the governor.
I do think it'll be important as they continue through the process to not lose sight of that contact. So we've done a nice job here recently and so it's made a difference. But as these bills kind of proceed through, I mean, Senate Bill 59 or House Bill 89 passed the House, but now it's got to go over. There'll be conference committee. And so if we just stop right here and don't pay attention to what's going on, then obviously other voices can be in the room, and we want to make sure that ours is just understood. Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you for writing.
Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome.
Under this section, we have a number of items, 11 items actually, for free facility requests. Again, we truly believe that these are, our buildings are a reflection of our community and their resources. And whenever we can provide them, we love the opportunity to do that. So a host of things from the Grange to Coding Club to Girl Scout, Boy Scouts, YMCA, PTOs, Granges, so lots of folks who want to use our facilities, and we're glad to do so.
Okay. I would entertain a motion then to approve those facility requests as.
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Regola-Dye. Do I have a second?
I'll second those.
Thank you, Mrs. Getzmann. Were there any questions? Would you call the roll, please?
Ms. Regola-Dye.
Yes.
Mrs. Getzmann.
Yes.
Mr. Thompson.
Yes.
Mr. Workman.
Yes.
Dr. Bennett.
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. And student services.
Under Student Services, no items for information at this time. I do have one item recommended for board approval, and it is working with the Village Network on the reevaluation of a student placed in the Central Ohio area. It's obviously easier to have a third party do that reevaluation than for us to send folks to that location. So it's simply a service to keep us compliant and working with an evaluation.
Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve that item. Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Regola-Dye. Were there any questions? Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Thompson.
Yes.
Ms. Regola-Dye.
Yes.
Mr. Workman.
Yes.
Mrs. Getzmann.
Yes.
Dr. Bennett.
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. And personnel.
Under Personnel, Certificated and Licensed Staff, no items for information, number of items for board approval, generally the kinds of things we do on a monthly basis. You see substitute teachers, you see supplemental contracts for your spring sports, those items for your consideration.
Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve those.
You beat me. That's fine.
Thank you, Mr. Workman, and would you second then?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Regola-Dye. Were there any questions? Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Workman.
Yes.
Ms. Regola-Dye.
Yes.
Mr. Thompson.
Yes.
Mrs. Getzmann.
Yes.
Dr. Bennett.
Yes, motion carried. And we're to classified staff.
Okay, in our final section here under classified staff, no items for information, number of items for board approval. Number one there is the employment of a central office director of student services secretary. So the board will probably get a chance to meet Elizabeth Ruth here soon. So welcome aboard to her. And then we also have a Dan Emmett elementary cook, as well as some substitute employments pending, of course, favorable BCI, FBI background checks. Those items for your approval.
Okay, I would entertain a motion for those.
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Regola-Dye. Do I have
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. And were there any questions?
No, no question, just a comment. I just am so tickled to see substitute bus drivers on here. It's really,
Desperately needed, right?
really great.
Would you call the roll, please?
Ms. Regola-Dye.
Yes.
Mr. Thompson.
Yes.
Mr. Workman.
Yes.
Mrs. Getzmann.
Yes.
Dr. Bennett.
Yes, motion carried. And do we have need of executive session?
I have no need for executive session. I'd like to thank Sue for Twin Oak. Laura, thanks for your presentation as well. And if you want to adjourn.
Okay, I would entertain
Make one comment
Sure.
before. Really appreciated the work session we had Saturday. I know it was lengthy in nature, but yet in the same hand, I went away very informed and encouraged and understand even it just focuses us in more on the things to look at and to be aware of in our district. And I know we kind of talked about it, and certainly no action tonight, but we look forward to us scheduling more of those in shorter spans so that we can, not time frames, but distance.
We don't have to
between
spend 5 or 6 hours.
Right? But I think there was some things there that we would have liked to have put more time to. But in general, well done. Thank you, Bill and Gary, for putting that together. I drove to Columbus that afternoon and my wife heard all about it. And so she's well informed about our district stuff too. So I was
Great.
pretty pumped up. So thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else have anything to share?
No update on the stadium lights yet. We do have a firm coming in, so if anybody is aware, at the stadium in the football field, we had a light during a storm about 3 weeks or so ago. A big steel pole came directly down and fell. Totally destroyed that particular set of light fixtures. It fell perfectly between an open gate and the track, so it didn't hit the track, hit the grass, but certainly it was a scary moment. We did get a chance then to look at the other 3 poles. We did notice that a second pole has some deficiencies that we will be needing to address. Insurance companies are looking at it. We're bringing in a company to really look at the other 2 poles as well. They'll almost do like an x-ray of the pole to really get a sense if there's any structural degradation. And we'll certainly have to have those fixed as we move forward. We're hoping it'll be paid for, but we'll keep you informed.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. And would you call the roll?
Ms. Regola-Dye.
Yes.
Mrs. Getzmann.
Yes.
Mr. Thompson. Yes. Mr. Workman.
Yes.
Dr. Bennett.
Yes. And we are adjourned. And thank you all again for
Thanks
coming.
again for
Staying.
coming.